Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 tonight. And we are here at Suzuka this evening. So to kick off the race intro for this evening, let's go with a few little snapshots of what happened last season and what's to come for the USA. Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to F1 tonight, and we are here at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. Already up 5 from the back of the grid and fighting here now with Miguel Tourney as they're coming round Designer Curve, takes the place from him. Casino Triangle. What a fantastic race from Bastabrin in Ferrari, and he takes first place here at Japan. Fantastic result for him. Boy Williamson completes the race. He does do those 23 laps. He comes in second. Rob Mulder in the Williams. Great race from him. And finally John Dunkel does a 1:30.0 fastest lap. Rob Mulder, phenomenal lap. For Williams comes in third place. Guido Erschein for Renault, I think, will take fourth, because he's 8 seconds adrift. Yeah. So he will take that place. Welcome to F1 tonight. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas, US of A. And the lights are coming on, and we are underway for the F1 tonight USA Grand Prix. They are off, and a good start from both Ferraris, but look at that rear window really getting right in the middle of the two. trying to pull through as they're coming into turn one. Will he be able to hold that? Oh, and
collision.
Look at this collision here with the Williams, the McLaren. My goodness me, Nicky Visser. And look at this, Nicky Visser has moved up 10 places. He's up to P6.
Blimey. 10 places off 2 corners.
That was one corner. That was absolutely amazing. There was a huge pile up there. I think maybe some damage. Rob Mulder is in fact out. Rob Mulder is out. Nicky Visser is in 3rd place. Seb Bogart now coming round.
After 2 races not being able to drive and coming back this way, it's just amazing.
It is. He's coming round turn 15 now on the final sector 3, round 16, 17, Hayden Hill dropping down now to turn 19, the penultimate turn. Round turn 20 now, onto the start-finish straight, and Seb Bogart
well done.
takes the win. Williams is 2nd, Nicky Visser coming round now, turn 11. He's a quarter of a lap behind these front 2 runners, but he will be more than happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Picking up these points here this evening
Very
for
solid drive.
that 3rd place, because I have to say that was an absolutely phenomenal drive from him. Welcome to F1 tonight. We are here at Suzuka for race 17 of season 5, and I'm joined in the commentary box this evening by my dear friend and colleague Adrian. Good evening, Adrian.
Evening indeed, thank you for the brilliant introduction as always.
Well, I am bigging you up somewhat, aren't I, really? I need to play that down, you know.
Yeah, off air it's totally different, we all know that. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got the Drivers' Championship up here. We've seen some movement, certainly again around that midfield, and let's go through it now. So Seb Bogart still leading the way on 236 points. 2nd is Damie Hartman on 209. 3rd, 181 for Bas de Breen, so those 3 places are maintained. But up 1 from 5 is Nicky Visser on 146. John Donkel is also up 1 to 5. Sorry, Nicky Visser goes up 5 to 4. John goes 6 to 5. And that's on 133 points. Then we have Rob Muldering down 2 points, suffering from those penalties that he has incurred. He's on 129 points. Marcel Dronig stays where he is in 7th with on 81. Mark Stapper stays in 8th on 66. Then we have up 4 from 13. Hans van der Berg for the Williams driver on 56. 10 is Sander Hermans down 1 from where he was obviously last week in 8. Then down 1 is Peter Phillips to Sander Hermans there. And then we have Peter Phillips down 1 to 11. Guido Airshine stays in 12. Bourne Williamson down 2 to 13. Then we have Marco Pullen, he stays in 14. 15, Martin Parder Cooper. Jamie Collane, 16. Marcel France, 17. Miguel Tourney, 18. And Kevin Van Delft at 19. Some movement around that midfield, isn't there, Adrian?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's pretty tight in the midfield actually. You've got drivers that I'd consider sort of massively out of place. The likes of Boy Williamson, Guido Ershine. I had the privilege of racing with both of those drivers and a few of the other F1 Tonight boys in the F1 Tonight UK test races on Tuesday. And I mean they've got some phenomenal pace. I definitely wouldn't have thought they'd be in that position at this stage in the season.
Well, unfortunately, 20 drivers, only one winner. Somebody has to go home with the tears, so to speak. But certainly a great move there from Hans Anderberg, up from 13 to 9. And he had an excellent race last week and some real good overtaking and good sort of fighting between himself and Boy Williamson from Mercedes. A little bit of a tear jerker at the end of it because Boy obviously bit of contact, went into the barriers and then DNF'd on lap 11. So, but it was great to see that sort of sparring between those two, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good fight between those two. I mean, Hans van der Berg is a driver. I mean, I often say, he gives everything every race, and the last race he was in was no exception. And it's fair play to him to finish where he did. But yeah, that battle with Boy was it was pretty intense, and I think we kind of expected it to be fair.
Yeah, that's very true. Right, well, let's now move on to the Constructors' Championship. And we have a change at the top. Renault have been leading all season, but now Haas are the leaders, and they are on 317 points. Renault are now second on 314 points. Third are Ferrari on 241 points. Mercedes are Sauber are 4 on 195 points. Mercedes are 5th on 189 points. And then we have Toro Rosso in 6 on 110. Force India 7 on 82. Williams 8 on 74. McLaren 9 on 56. And Red Bull bringing up the rear on 9 points. And we can see again, it's still so close. I mean, Haas just pipped Renault last week. Obviously, not a great race for Renault. Both their drivers coming in 8th and 9th respectively, whereas Haas 1st and 6th, and it's made a difference, hasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean that's their worst points haul of the season for Renault, just 5 points from that race last week, and it was really sort of out of character for them. I've been rooting for them all season. I said at the end of last season when the teams were announced, I thought Renault would have had it. I knew it has to be up there as well. Ferrari, a little bit further off than I thought they might have been, to be honest. Some 70 odd points behind the top two, but I wouldn't rule them out entirely. Obviously, you can get 43 points for a 1-2, and there's what are there 5 races of the season left?
Well, including this one, yeah.
Including this, yeah. So it's still good 200 points up for grabs.
It still could move, and still very close there between Mercedes and Sauber, although they are progressing ever further. Okay, let's have a look at the track now, and here we are, Suzuka International Racing Course. And I've added a few arrows in for obvious reasons, for those that may not necessarily be familiar with the track. It does come back on itself, 18 corners, and circuit length 5.8 kilometres, 3.6 miles. Race length 307 kilometres, 191 miles, and 53 laps. First sector takes us up to just before turn 8, that's the Degner curve. Then the second sector starts just before you get into turn 15 over the bridge and then into R130. And obviously the third sector then ends on third sector starts there, third sector ends on the start finish straight. First sector, obviously those S curves, they're going to be claiming their victims, aren't they, Adrian? I should think.
Yeah, 100%. It's Suzuka's noted as one of the most, if not the most, technical circuit on the entire calendar. It's unique as well in that it's the only figure of 8 circuit on the track. As you say, the drivers end up going back or going across themselves. So we say with that tunnel, there we go. I've just seen it. Watch her try and just go under it. That first sector is it can be a real killer if you haven't got the right setup. Because you start losing it on the first turn, and by the 6th or 7th turn, you're really out of shape, and it's important to stay rigid as much as you can.
Yeah, you get out of sync, and I often say it about the melody of the track, and this one definitely has a melody, but has quite a change of tempo as well. When we go to sector 2, Degner curve, turn 8 and turn 9. Turn 8 high speed corner, but you can certainly lose it on there, either one of those two. Then you come up to turn 11, that hairpin, ever dangerous. Then you've got the exit of Spoon Curve, turn 14, as you come down out of sector 2 and into sector 3 into that R130. High speed R130 turn, and then finally the Casino Triangle, the chicane there, 16, 17. And then that's where you have your DRS detection zone just before that Casino Triangle with the activation on that straight. So look out for some overtakes, certainly on that straight, because it's quite a long DRS zone, isn't it, into turn 1?
Yes, yeah, it's. I don't know if it's the longest, but it's certainly, yeah, certainly gives drivers really good opportunity for overtakes. Just hopping back to Spoon Curve. Actually, I think people sort of underestimate that corner and how much it can actually gain you time if you do, or lose you time if you get it right or wrong.
Yeah,
particularly
definitely.
the first part of it is so important to get right, to lead you into the second part, which is turn 14.
Yeah.
Because as you see, there's a very long straight after 14, so up the hill and round 130R. So yeah, it's just crucial to get that sector, or those two corners just right.
Indeed. Okay, so let's now switch back to the action. And there we are now. We join the guys in Q1. Just to let you know, as 18 drivers this evening, Jamie Collane from McLaren is not with us this evening. And penalties served and made for Martin Parder-Cooper for Ferrari and Rob Moldrink for Sauber. So we've got 7 minutes remaining of this session as it stands at this moment in time. And leading the way, no great surprise, we've got Seb Bogart, and he's really gone for it. I mean, he's a great competitor, but I think he stepped it up a gear these past couple of races. I don't know what you think on that, Adrian. If he can step it up a
I'd be
gear.
inclined to. I think if there was any accusation of complacency so earlier on in the season from Bogard, I think all that's completely out the window now. He's as the season sort of draws closer, he's becoming more and more focused, much to the dismay perhaps of some of the other drivers, especially Damien Hartman.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more, because Damie really, he wants to go for this championship. He's so close, but yet so far. And this is going to be an important race for the Ferrari driver, Damie Hartman, isn't it, Adrian? He needs to start to break away now if he stands a chance. I mean, he's still got a good chance. Obviously, he's fighting. I mean, there's only 27 points behind Seb Bogart at the moment, so it's nothing that can't be achieved. But he really does need to work really hard now until the end of this season, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not all won and lost on one race, but the result of this race will be vital for him. He needs to at least finish ahead of Bogart, and obviously, ideally, actually win it, and for Bogart to perhaps DNF. I think at worst, he needs to beat him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's put in a good time, 129.2, although 7/10 off Seb Bogart's time. Nicky Visser would have won 28.8. Not too bad. He's only 3/10 off Seb Bogart. And with Nicky Visser, we've always said he's a great driver. He had some terrible luck, and he just wasn't going his way at the start of the season. But he's crawled back again, hasn't he? And he's not one to be counted out, is he?
No, that's absolutely right. With that win in Singapore, of course, he's done really well to sort of change his luck. People say that you make your own luck, and I think that's what we're seeing from Nicky so far.
I'm inclined to agree on that one, certainly. So let's have a quick look down the field. Obviously, from the drivers, we'll go down to 15 drivers. Just trying to establish Marcel Droenig needs to set a lap time. We don't have Boy Williamson in yet, so he might come in at the later in the session. So he will join, obviously, at the back. He, unfortunately, due to commitments, etc., he can't always make the queues, and he started at the back a few times, but hasn't necessarily cramped his style, has it?
No, it hasn't really. I think I think I said it last week. He kind of relishes in the fight. So yeah, starting at the back, yeah, it's no stranger to him, and I think he really does actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it just probably gives him that adrenaline boost start to the race to see him through the distance, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, some drivers prefer that. You know, it gives them a sort of target each lap. You know, overtake, and it helps them in their initial stint.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Seb Bogart there, he's not wasting them time. Doesn't need to. He only did effectively 2 laps, the out lap and the qualifying lap. It's just showing his pace at this moment in time. Nicky Visser, he did 2 laps. Baz de Breen's got up there as well, 1:29.2 on 2 laps. Damie Hartman also did 2 laps. Guido Ershine 1 lap up in 5th, so it's not looking too bad there. Mark Strappers moves up to 6, Sanahan 7, Marco Pullen 8, 9, Hans van der Berg, John Dunkel 10, Peter Phillips is 11, Marcel Dronig's now up to 12, so he's okay. Kevin van Delft, he's in 13, Miguel Tourney in 14, and I think Marcel France is in 15 by the looks of it. So yeah, it's the 2 guys suffering the penalties, Martin Paardepiper, Rob Mouldring, obviously they're there. Boy Williamson not connected as yet, and as we know, Jamie Collane will not be coming in this evening. So I think everyone's pretty much get ready for their setups, really. Peter Phillips, I think, only man out on track at this moment in time.
Yeah, he's obviously just doing a few banker laps. He knows he's comfortably through. We presume, actually. I'm just trying to work it out. Yeah, I think he'll be safe at that time. Yeah, it's because obviously there's no practice sessions with the front tonight races. They go straight into Q1.
Yeah, well, practices during the week if you want to do it.
Absolutely, I could not agree more with that.
That's the way to do it, and you can certainly see
one of the worst things to hear as a driver is another driver saying, "Oh, has someone got a setup?"
Yeah.
The start of a league race. That winds me up.
Yeah, just push everything to the right. That'll do it. That'll do the job. So, right, yes, and we won the intro. We obviously had a fantastic intro to this race last year. It was quite a race, certainly, last year. And I think we're going to see more of that sort of action again. It is the track that does tend to deliver that sort of action. But what I also wanted to touch on was USA. Race 100 is here for F1 tonight. Holland, Dutch League, the Netherlands, 100 races. That's awesome, isn't it?
That is incredible. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done 100 races in my whole life, let alone in one league. I'm sure I have, but yeah, it just doesn't feel real, does it? I mean, I've been commentating for about 30 races, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously yourself is probably a lot longer. Actually, what season did you join F1 tonight?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think I joined in. I think it was October or November of the same year, maybe a little bit earlier. So I think I've done about 80
season 3
altogether so far. Yeah, I think I've done about 80. Oh. Yeah, shame I haven't improved over those 80, isn't it? Yeah, I had to do it all by myself for nearly 2 seasons, Adrian. It just, dearie me. I had to talk for 2.5 hours non-stop.
Yeah, I bet you hated that.
Yeah, I had to have plenty of liquid refreshment on hand just to keep the everything well lubricated, let's put it like that. Okay, so it's Marcel Dronig. He's crawling around at this moment in time. Has he run out of fuel? I think he has, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it.
So
yeah, he's full throttle.
Yeah, he is full throttle, and yeah, he's definitely run out of fuel. He's got a bit of a way to go there, I would suspect. So, what do you think we're going to see this evening? I mean, I just wanted to make a few comparisons. So, between what we've got here, and I haven't done it for a while, but Seb Bogart, 1:28.5 in Q1. The fastest time in Q1 in the real world 2018 Japanese Grand Prix was Lewis Hamilton with a 1:28.7. That's not bad, is it?
That's
I
not
know
too bad.
you can't
That is not too
compare
bad.
like for like, but that's quite interesting. 1:28.7. Q2, he actually did a 1:28.0, so a 7/10, almost 6/10 progression. And then in Q3, he did a 1:27.7. So that was a full second difference between his Q1 time and his Q3 time. I suspect that we're likely to see those sort of differences here. I would expect we will see, if we don't see it in Q2, I'm sure we'll see it in Q3, 1:27, won't we?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's as I said earlier on, some of the drivers use Q1 as a bit of a practice session, and you never quite know for that reason, how hard each driver is actually pushing. So yeah, the Q1 times I take with a bit of a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that one. So we move now on to Q2. I've got to say, it's looking rather cloudy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to pick up the the ambient temperature, but it can completely change between qualifying sessions and obviously for the race itself. Just keep an eye on the skies.
Well, hopefully we'll get a weather report before we go, or as we go into Q2.
Ambient temperature is 27. I'd consider that pretty warm and
that's warm. That's warm.
Rain-free.
So Q2 now going to be getting underway. And I must admit, the more I see this track and I go on it, I do really enjoy this track.
Yeah, Suzuka's always been one of my favourites. It's one of the very first tracks I ever remember racing on in any game ever. I think I was about 10 years old, and yeah, it was just one that stuck out for me because of the figure of eight layout. I just thought it was really interesting, and it stuck with me ever since.
Yeah, well, it certainly is a fantastic track. As the guys go out on track now, let's see who we can. I think it's actually Don Donkel was the first man out on track by the looks of it. And again, everyone seems to be pretty much going for softs that I can see here. Certainly John has. But we've also got some soft runners. So you've got super soft and soft runners. Now, this track is... I mean, the softs are certainly a good option, but tyre wear is an issue on this track.
Yeah, big time, especially around the first sector. As I said, those high-speed technical left and rights. That can really dig into the degradation of the tyres.
Well, as I say, we're on board at this moment in time with John Donkel on his outlap. Let's see what he can bring to the party, so to speak. And they need to claim those points back, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. I think this is the track to do it. To be honest, remember both of these drivers having excellent races. Actually, the last time they raced here at Suzuka, different teams back then, obviously. I'm just trying to recall, just from memory, where they actually finished. Come back to me on that. But yeah, I'm fairly confident they're going to do pretty well and probably regain the lead in the constructors at the end of this race.
Well, we will Let's see what happens, and we are on board with John Doncourt on his first opening lap. And I've got to say, Adrian, although it's warm, those clouds are looking rather ominous. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a touch of damp actually on this track, you know, during qualification.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Obviously, Japan is known for sort of monsoons, tsunamis, even, you know, and it's it can change, you know, within a matter of moments. Oh, we've got a spin. There's a sort of Force India facing the wrong way. Marco Pullen.
Oh dear, Marco Pullen going off the track on his outlap. Not what you want to be doing. It's John Doncourt now. Comes down to turn 15, 130R. Into the Casino Triangle. Round the final corner. And there you go. He's done a 129.4. Respectable, but not, I would think, the fastest that we're going to see, certainly in this session. On board now with Kevin Van Delft in the Williams. He's also...
It's interesting, actually. Sorry, Eddie, I was just going to say, it's interesting, actually, that a lot of the... well, I think everyone has gone for the same tyre as their teammate. Got both Ferraris on the...
Funny you should say that. I was just looking at that, actually, and I was thinking, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah. So maybe we're seeing some co-op between the drivers there. I don't know, but that is interesting. You're quite right on that. Mark Stapper sending a 128.9. That's so very respectable. Damie Hartman 130.3. Marcel Droney 131.0. Nicky Visser 132.0. What can Kevin Van Delft do? Oh, and he sets a 131.9. So it pushes Nicky Visser down at this moment in time.
These times are considerably slower than what we saw in Q1. I'm really sort of taken aback slightly here, actually.
Yeah, I've got to say, they are like almost a full second, 2 seconds slower. So I must admit, I'm wondering that as well. I mean, is track temperature dropped, or...?
No, track temperature is the same what it was in Q1, 19 degrees. We've lost Van Delft, by the way. He has crashed out on track.
He has.
I can't see where he is.
Well, I'm on board with Seb Bogart. Should be coming up to him now, just through the S's. So I'm wondering if it was, I wonder if it was around Degner, actually. No yellows. Comes down to turn 8, still no yellows. I think it, I'm not too sure where it is, actually.
Might have removed him.
I would have thought it would have removed him by now. That's a shame, but he did set a time of 131.9, but I suspect that he's not going to stay there.
Bogart's out for another lap. He hasn't actually set a time yet. I think he did an out lap and then came in on his hot lap. Still on the same set of soft tyres as he was before he come in.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does on these softs. I've got a feeling that he does really want to start on the soft tyres. I have no idea where he's crashed, Kevin Van Delft. I think it might have been actually around turn 1, funnily enough. No, we met Seb Bogart where we met him before, so I'm not too sure where Kevin Van Delft went off, but Guido Airshine, Seb Bogart, Baxter Breed and Peter Phillips still to set a time. We'll go on board now with Guido Airshine as he comes down now the backstretch, up the hill, the other side. Coming around turn 15, 130R.
Marco Pullen seems to have found his rhythm. He's on a much better lap now. He's just coming around the final chicane.
Airshine does not
It's an
set
improvement.
a time. Baz Debris now coming round. Just round Deg there, turn 9 now. He's going on board with Seb Bogart again. He's just coming round to turn 15 now.
It's looking pretty good.
It's looking good, certainly at this moment in time. Yeah, 128.8 puts him to the top there. So full 10th ahead of Mark Stappers, but I've got to say, good delivery there from Mark Stappers, certainly. So Baz Debris is coming up to turn 15 now. Peter Phillips just coming round the Casino Triangle. And he's not having a great time of it at this moment in time, that's for sure. Sets a time though. No, he doesn't. So he's still to set a time. Baz Debris coming round now. Comes over the line.
Yeah,
Also
it's
does
starting
not
his hot
set
lap.
a time.
Yeah, he was just starting his hot lap.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't realise, didn't see his out lap on there. So, Dido Airshine is coming round now. Is he on his hot lap?
Yes, I think so. Oh, he's invalidated.
He's invalidated that. So 6 minutes remaining at this moment in time. Most of the drivers back in the pit. Seb Bogart electing to stay out there. He clearly, do you think he can improve on that, or is he just coming round to go into the pits, do you think?
I think he'll be coming in. I can't imagine him gaining anything at all from
Doesn't need
doing
to do
another
anything,
lap.
really, does he?
No, and he want to save these tyres because of course he'll have to use these in the first stint of the race.
It's going to be interesting because I mean, you know, he's starting on those softs, so he's pretty much showing his hand already there, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he come out early. I think he was one of the first drivers out, or certainly first 3.
On this track, obviously, whichever way.
Sorry, we've lost Airshine. Sorry,
oh God,
Airshine's retired on track.
He has. Yellows as we come onto the start-finish straight.
Baz Debris is
so I wonder if that was
on
going into the
double
pits
purple.
because we had yellows coming round the out on the exit of the last final corner, and then it went green when we got on the straight. So I'm not too sure. I think he might have crashed into the pit actually.
He could have done. Debris just gone top 28.4. That is a good time.
Yeah, that is an awesome time. 128.4. He's taken out full 4 tenths out of his old teammate Seb Bogart. So great result there for Baz Debris.
Yeah. I had a feeling Renault would be strong here, and they're showing they've got good pace at the moment. It's only Q2, but it's a good start.
No, definitely. And we can see here, but I mean, again, he's on those super softs, isn't he? So he should be faster, really.
Yeah, he should be, but 6.5 tenths on the super softs over the soft tyres. He's only 4.5 tenths faster, so you could say Bogart is 2 tenths up in that respect. But you know, he's still top at this moment, so you know, it's not a bad lap by any means.
Marcel Dronig is the man that's currently in the drop zone. He needs to improve on his time. He's got a fresh set of super softs on there. We should see him move up. I would expect him to move up to probably around about P8, P7, P8, somewhere around there, I would think.
Yeah, I just thought so. Yeah, that's pretty respectable for him.
But it's finding it difficult. But I am a bit thrown, as you quite rightly say, with the times, because they are definitely slower than we saw in Q1.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it's really strange. The air and track temperature, as I said, is the same as the previous session. Yeah, perhaps they're just a bit reluctant to sort of push it too hard in this session. Yeah, because of course they do have to still have to sort of manage these tyres even on their hot lap.
Yeah,
as I say, they will be starting the race on them.
Okay, well, as I said, and that's what I was going to touch on earlier, Adrian, with the strategy on this. I mean, whichever way you look at it, it's a 2-stop race, isn't it?
Yeah, I just thought so. At least a 2-stop. 3-stop is certainly viable as well. Yeah, yeah. The strategies are going to be interesting actually. I'd like to see sort of what the likes of Seb Bogard does versus Damie Hartman, who's on the soft tyre as well at the start of the race. For now, and then you've got the other drivers, Baz Labrin even, starting on the super softs. So it's going to be a totally different strategy call from him and his teammate John Donkel on the soft time. So yeah, perhaps covering both strategies there, the Renaults.
Well, I think the Constructors' Championship, I mean, obviously the Drivers' Championship is important, certainly, but the Constructors' Championship is important to Renault, I think, this season, isn't it? Because they've been leading it for all season until this week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've spoken to John about he at least is definitely massively fired up for winning the constructors, and yeah, and I'm sure Baz is as well. So yeah, and as you say, they've been leading from the start of the season up until the last race, and they're only 3 points behind.
Well, yeah, that is true. It is only 3 points, so it is something that they could quite easily achieve, get back. But I've got a feeling now that Haas have got the taste for it. They're going to want to keep it. And again, they are performing well. I mean, Dronig here, I mean, he's got himself, as we said, he's got himself in. Not quite where I expected. He's 12 at the moment. We expect him to push that up a bit higher, but he's run out of fuel again, hasn't he? Or is he just coming to pit? I don't know what's going on here.
I think he's just can't. Yeah, he has run out of fuel. Yeah, he's out of fuel.
So that does not bode well. He's going to have to stay there, and he's out effectively. He's out. He's P12.
Yeah, that is it. That is it. There's nobody below him who can set a lap, so he is out of. He won't make it into Q3.
He won't.
Which is going to be very nice for Renault.
It is going to be very nice for Renault because they've got both cars through. Ferrari got both cars through as well, and Mark Stapper's we didn't mention there, but it's set a good time there, 1:28.9. So going out in this queue will be Miguel Tourney, Marcel Dronig, Kevin Van Delft, and unfortunately Guido Airshine, who didn't even set a time there, so he's going to be very disappointed with that. So they'll be starting in row 6 and 7 respectively. But yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, Toro Rosso doing great guns. Sander Herman's up in P6 and Peter Phillips there in 9. I mean, are we going to see something? Do you think? I mean, Sander Hermans has really been improving, as we've said on numerous occasions during the course of this season. But I don't know. I think this track could quite suit his style,
Yeah, I'm just watching him in these first couple of sessions. It looks like he didn't really sort of have his setup correct, possibly, or just the flow wasn't quite there. He did set that lap very late in this session. Just did it on his previous lap there. I wasn't quite sure actually if he was going to make it through.
Yeah,
it's good to see that he has sort of pulled himself together, pulled the car together, and set a decent lap. So yeah, just keep an eye on him in Q3. Hopefully he's gonna show us what he can do.
Well,
good luck from Mark Stappers, though.
So. Yeah, definitely good luck from Mark Stappers. Again, he does qualify well. It's just he sometimes suffers on those starts, and his race starts are a big issue to him, really, aren't they? He really does suffer on those.
Well, I completely empathise with that because my starts personally are horrendous.
Yeah,
I could be on pole position and then be P10 by the end of the first turn. So yeah, I completely understand how that can happen. But starting races. I mean, that is a skill in itself. That is completely separate from racing, from driving. Just nailing the launch. That's something that you just have to practice, and I have to practice. To be fair.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is critical part, obviously, of the race, especially when you work so hard in qualification to get yourself up there. You need to give yourself a fighting chance, and it is very, very important indeed. And Boy Williamson has just joined in, so Boy Williamson will be starting at the back of the grid. So he'll be starting at P18. So another back of the grid start for him, but as we said earlier, shouldn't prove too much of an issue for him. It certainly hasn't done in the previous outings. Yep, and it looks like Seb
He loves
Bogart
it.
is the first man out.
He loves being at the back as well.
Yeah, well, I have heard say that, but let's not go into his personal life now. So
Moving
we
on.
are on board with Seb Bogart at this moment in time on his out lap, and as expected, I would expect everybody's going to be on those super soft tyres, and indeed they are. Actually, just as the third tyre here, I'm assuming is a medium, is it?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, super soft, and medium tyres available here at Japan. There's only going to be a few more races to go, and then we won't even be mentioning super soft tyres ever again.
No, we won't.
Probably ever again.
It'll just be soft, medium, and hard.
That's it.
Maybe.
Yep. Use them while you got them.
So it's. I'm just wondering if we're going to see maybe a couple of those guys in the back rows starting on those medium tyres, Adrian. I mean, it is a viable option here at Suzuka, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yep, definitely, 100%. Yeah, start on the medium tyre. Lose ground in the opening phases, which will give you the clean air, and then when the drivers ahead pit, you've got yet more clean air, so you can manage your own race. That much better. You're not fighting with anyone, obviously, other than the other medium runners.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can give you such a huge advantage. I think that is something that people really underestimate.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you, because everyone tends to concentrate on the softs and the super softs and tend to ignore that medium. But I know in watching F1 tonight, guys, that I've seen a couple of them that have been on the mediums, and you can see how it can pay and does pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as I say, we are on board with Seb Bogart. This is his fast lap now that he is on. So let's see what he can deliver. And I would expect it's not looking too bad. Sector 2. So he's hitting the minute as he's coming down out of turn 14. So it's respectable. I think we're going to be looking at a 128, certainly. I don't think we're going to see 127 territory, but definitely a 128.
Yeah, possibly. Can't tell at the moment. He's 2 tenths up on Visser and Donkel, who are the second and third fastest in the first sector. And 3 more tenths up against Donkel in the second sector. Apologies.
Oh, it's a 127.8. Oh, good one there. So Nicky Visser now coming round the Casino Triangle. What can he do? John Donkel gets in with a 128.6. Nicky Visser a 128.7. Damie Hartman just behind a 129.2. So big difference there, Adrian. I mean, we're looking at 1.5 seconds between currently, Damie Hartman and Seb Bogart. That's a huge gap.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's obviously a favourite track of one driver, and then perhaps a not so favourite track of the other. But yeah, drivers 1 and 2 in the championship. Not often separated by such a gap in Q3. I'm sure we'll see more from Damie.
Well, I've got to say we haven't decided yet, but Adrian, let's call it. Who are you going to call for pole? Who's it going to be?
Pole position. For pole position, I think I'm going to give it to Baz de Breen. I think he will just nab it.
And do you know what, Adrian? For the hell of it, I'm actually going to agree with you this evening.
Oh my god. It's a good thing I'm sitting down.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually fully reclined. I'm at 180 degrees for that one, Adrian.
Yeah, no, Baz is pretty good. He's more than pretty good. He's really good at this circuit. As I'm just watching him slide around Spoon Corner, actually, just as I say that.
So a little bit of power slide from Baz de Breen at this moment in time. He comes up to to the turn 15, 130. Oh, has he run out of fuel? He's run out of fuel. He has run out of fuel, and he hasn't gone.
Yes, he has. Yes.
And he hasn't gone into the pits. He's going to have to. Oh, and there he is. That's the pit entry.
No, he's coming in there.
Yeah. So he's coming into the pits now. Not where you want to be. John Donkel in the pits at this moment in time. Damie Hartman still out on track. Zander Hermans. He said a 1:28.8. So I mean, respectable time. Hans van der Berg though has gone out. So he must have gone out on track clearly. And don't know where that is.
I'm annoyed I missed that.
Yeah, I'm annoyed I missed that as well, actually. But he's set a 1:29.2. Marco Pullen was a 1:29.2.41. So, oh my God, only what 2/100ths between those two at this moment in time. Mark Stappers 1:34. Oh, that's a little bit better. 1:29.8, a little bit more respectable. Peter Phillips still to set a time. He's still in the first sector. He's just going through the S's now. And just watching him, he's looking a bit twitchy around there, isn't he?
Yeah, just a bit. Again, I don't know whether it's the track or his setup. Something's just not sitting right with him. Perhaps he doesn't enjoy this circuit as much as so many other drivers.
Well, I've got to say, I can understand that. Oh dear, and that is on the right hand side there. And that's Marco Pullen. On the turn 11.
Peter Phillips' teammates, Zander Hermans, he has run out of fuel for the second time in these qualifying sessions. Ran out in Q2, and he's run out again now in Q3.
Not good. I mean, the drivers are obviously having to really, reduce that fuel load to try and get the optimum out of the car. And it's not an ideal situation. Your setup should obviously deliver 3/4 of it, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should do. I mean, drivers are aware of exactly how much fuel is in the car at any time. They know if they've got enough to complete a lap and an in-lap.
Peter Phillips doesn't improve on his time. He's Seb Bogart having to go over a bit of rough ground there on the exit of the pits. To avoid going into. Oh, it wasn't Seb Bogart actually. Who was that? It must have been Nicky Visser. Yeah, it was Nicky Visser then in the Mercedes. Seb Bogart coming around now. Is he going to try and better that time? He is a full 7/10 at the head of Baz de Breen at this moment in time. Doesn't better that time. Baz de Breen now coming out on track. Now this is the one now. They've got 3 minutes. This is when Baz needs to deliver. Seb Bogart stayed out on track. So he's now going for a fast lap. Baz de Breen just coming out of the pits. This is going to be a battle between these old two teammates by the looks of it, isn't it? Unless we have somebody come in at the knockings of this session, but it's looking that way at this moment, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm hoping Damie Hartman actually will just appear at the top of this little leaderboard. But for now it's certainly a fight between Bogart and de Breen.
Well, let's go on board with Bogart. He's into now the final sector.
Purple sector 1.
Well, he will be. Yeah.
It's
the final sector now.
Previous, strange. It's only showing as. Oh, there we go. Purple sector 2 as well.
Wow. So he is definitely laying
short,
down the gauntlet here. What are we going to be looking at? It's purple sectors 1 and 2. He's already set a 1:27.8. He's clearly on the road to better that. Look at that. 1:27.6 takes 2/10 out of that previous best time. Baz de Breen's really got his work cut out for him now.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, phenomenal lap there from Sebastian. But de Breen's just starting his hot lap now.
So Baz de Breen now on his hot lap. Let's stay on board with him.
Nicky Visser looking really good actually. Sector 1 is only a blink of an eye slower than Bogart.
Let's quickly switch to that one then. So Nicky Visser.
in corner.
Definitely. But he did it well there. He's got yellow flags ahead of him on 130R.
Oh, purple. It's purple, sector 2. I think he's going to beat him.
Oh, Nicky Visser into the triangle now. Round the penultimate turn. Coming round turn 18. Can he smash that 127.6 of Seb Bogarts? Oh, 127.7, 1/10 away. What a fantastic job there from Nicky Visser, I have to say. But we are now on board with Baz de Breen as he comes round 130R.
Baz is better, but not anywhere. He's not anywhere close to Nicky. Nicky lost 2/10 in the final sector. He would have had it. Improvement from De Breen, 28-1.
Yeah, 28-1 from De Breen. So he does improve on his previous. But 32 seconds remaining. That's it now. Seb Bogarts into the pit. Nicky Visser is on a warm down lap. Don't think he's going to go for another one. Baz de Breen also as well. Marco Pullen in the pits. Marco Pullen up to P4, row 2. Good job there from Marco Pullen.
Good, yeah, it's really good to see Force India back in it, and yeah, that's where they should be.
That's a fantastic result. John
Stappers
Dongle is still on track, so I don't know if John's looking to better his time at all.
Stappers is about to better his time. I think he's going to jump. Oh no, he's lost 4 seconds actually in the middle sector. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a 40.3
John Dongle is
in the
fifth.
middle
Damie
sector.
Hartman though, look at this. Damie Hartman, he really needs to deliver here. Surely he's currently 6, row 3.
Yeah, lost 4/10 to Bogart in the first sector. He's equal in the middle sector. This could put in P3.
128.5, but it only puts him in P5. He's only moved up 1 place. He's still in that 3rd row, still alongside John Dongle. Zander Hermans will be in row 4, P7. Mark Stappers will be P8, row 4. Hans van der Berg will be row 5, P9, and Peter Phillips will be 10.
Yeah, poor last sector from Damie actually. Yeah, he would have definitely gone ahead of Pullen's time there.
Well, great shame, but you know, such is, as they say. But I'm sure Marco Pullen's going to be very, very happy with that, though.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. That's a really respectable lap, and a little bit from left field actually. You didn't, sort of didn't catch our eye really in the first 2 qualifying sessions, but he's done his best lap when it mattered the most.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you've done previously. It's what you do in this session. The important thing is getting into this session, and then once you're there, that's when you need to deliver the goods.
Someone who didn't deliver actually was Mark Stappers. You know, we saw him go P3 in Q2, and yeah, he just wasn't able to carry that momentum over.
No, he's just I don't know what's happened there. He just couldn't carry it over, could he? As you say, he just couldn't quite get it together in that session. So there you have it. Seb Bogart, row 1. He'll be starting the race. Another start of the race again for Seb Bogart. And well, you know, is he starting to pull away now? Is he starting to has he gone into another gear for the end of this season, Adrian?
Well, yeah, I would have possibly said something like that prior to this qualifying session. But you know, he's less than a 10th. The gap between him and Nick is less than a 10th. I wouldn't say that is you know, dominating performance there that we've just seen. But we'll see how the race goes. Obviously, you know, his racecraft will you know, everyone's racecraft will come into play, and that's a completely different ball game.
And who are you going to call for the win, Adrian? Who's it going to be? Who are you going to call?
Well, on the I don't know if you noticed on the stream itself, actually on YouTube, I did comment with who I thought might win this race. And it was a driver who didn't actually make it into Q3.
Oh, right.
But I'm gonna stick with him. I think Guido may pull something out the bag
Really?
and take the win here. I'm
Okay.
basing that on his performance last time round, actually, at Japan. If I remember correctly, I think he was doing well, and then he sort of had about 5 pit stops or something.
Yeah, it all went horribly wrong for him. You're absolutely right in season 4. Okay, so we're on the processional lap now as the drivers get underway. So let's go through the drivers. So Seb Bogart will be starting in P1, row 1. Alongside him will be Nicky Visser. Oh, no, Nicky Visser, that's the one, in the Mercedes. Row 2 will be Baz the Breen in P3. Marco Pullen for Force India, second row, P4. Damie Hartman, row 3, P5. Then we have John Donkel alongside him in P6. Then we have Zander Hermans in the Toro Rossos in row 4, P7. And alongside him will be Mark Stappers. And let's see if Mark can deliver for this evening. Then we have Hans van der Berg, row 5, P9. Alongside him will be Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. And we have Miguel Torney in the Force India. Why is he not coming up? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there we go. That's a bit weird. So Miguel Torney, he'll be in the Force in the Red Bull. He's P11. Then we have Marcel Dronig in the Haas. He's currently P12. P13, we have Kevin Van Delft. 14, Guido Airshine. 15, Marcel France, row 8. 16, Martin Parder-Cooper alongside him. In row P17, row 9 will be Rob Mouldering, bringing up the rear. And Boy Williamson, is in the rear there. He'll be starting P19, but effectively P18. So the drivers are on the start. Final drivers coming onto their grids now. As we get ready, the cars start to rev for the start of this Suzuka F1 Tonight GP. And it's a go, go, go. Here we are now as they lead off. Seb Bogart keeps the lead. Nicky Visser pushing hard, but Baz the Breen's in there. But look at that. Damie Hartman already moved up to P4. Marco Pullen dropping back slightly, but Seb Bogart leads in there. Nicky Visser second. Baz the Breen
Lost
third.
Phillips.
Damie Hartman's 4. Marco Pullen 5. Sander Hermans, he's up to 6.
Yeah, we've lost Peter Phillips back there in turn 1 or turn 2 collision.
Oh, dearie me.
Clean.
John Donkel going off the track there, losing position, comes back into P9 behind the 2 Williams drivers of Kevin Van Delft and Hans van der Berg. This is very, very close indeed as they're coming. Oh, contact between the Toro Rosso of Sander Hermans and Damie Hartman. Damie Hartman suffers there. He's dropping back in a major way down to P8, but that was, not an awful lot he could do there.
Not really, no. That's going to be crucial for the championship itself, actually.
Definitely, because Damie Hartman's now dropped back to P8. He's behind John Donkel in P7. And he's got Kevin Van Delft ahead of him as well. Both those drivers are on the Super Soft Taurus, so they should be faster. Hans van der Berg is in P5. He's on the soft. Sander Hermans is in P4. As is Baz the Breen up to P3. Well, he is in P3 anyway. Nicky Visser maintains that P2, but he's already 1.1 seconds behind Seb Bogart. Seb Bogart already starting to pull away.
Yeah, clean start from the front 3 at least. We've lost France though.
Yeah, Marcel
Miguel
France has
França,
gone out as
Marcel
well
França,
now.
apologies. Party Cooper in the pits. Heavy damage on his car.
Yeah. Guido Echon has moved up 1 to 13. And he's on the tail of Boy Williamson. Boy Williamson already moved up into P12. Remember, he started in 18, so it's already 6 places that he's moved up. Typical Boy Williamson style, as you say, just carving his way through the field at this moment in time, isn't he? Now he's having to fight quite hard against Rob Mouldering, and they're wheel to wheels. They're coming round. Oh my goodness me! Look at this, into 8. Oh, and he loses it there. Into the gravel, manages to keep control, but Guido Airshine now overtakes him as they come into 10, side by side into 11. Oh, locks up again.
Oh, boy on the grass.
This. Goes onto the rough.
Yeah.
He's just pushing too hard now, isn't he?
Yeah, it was that little battle with Mouldering actually. Mouldering with quite an aggressive overtake on Boy into turn 9, and and that sort of knocked him a little bit, sort of mentally, I think. And then he had Guido up the outside going into the hairpin. Boy was on the grass on the left, and just locked up and went straight at the hairpin, unfortunately. So back to square one for Boy.
Oh, Nicky Visser setting the fastest provisional lap at 1:34.2, but he's still 1.1 behind Bogart.
Yeah, pacing themselves, I think, the top 2, both on the soft tyres. Nicky wants to stay within that DRS range if he can.
Well, I've got to say,
Which
having a quick look, Nicky's ERS is better health at this moment in time than Seb Bogart, so it's quite interesting. But it's important, isn't it? You cannot afford to let Seb pull away from you. I mean, this has been proven time and time again in so many Grand Prix. You just cannot let him pull away, can you?
No, you really can't. Just need to keep that pressure on him. It's the only way he's really going to make a mistake. Don't see many of them. I think I've seen 2 in the 30 races that I have watched.
Yeah, he is. He's not going to particularly like the comparison, but he is a bit of a Lewis Hamilton when it comes to perfection, I've got to say.
Yeah, just less than 7 tenths now, actually, the gap between him and Nicky.
It is. It has dropped down somewhat.
Jamie's going to pass Kevin Van Delft for P6.
Yeah, he has. He's got past Van Delft into 15, but he goes wide. Look at this, Van Delft coming back as they're coming into Casino. Almost side to side, but look in the background there. John Donkel, he's just waiting to pounce, isn't he? Look at him. He's just, come on, guys, do something wrong. Let me get
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he senses actually that Jamie's car is actually slightly damaged. Jamie's really fighting to hold on.
He really is struggling there. John Donkel straight past Kevin Van Delft into turn 1, but he's got him side by side with him. Look at this, wheel to wheel. Little bit of contact there onto the side pods, but nothing too bad. But Van Delft coming back, and Van Delft is he's a man possessed on this Japanese track, isn't he? Is he been in the Saki or something?
He may well have been. That was a great move actually from Kevin. He was not going to concede that position easily.
No way. It's like, okay, you had me into turn 1, but I'm going to get you as we come around Degner.
Oh, he's on the grass.
He is, only slightly though. Manages to keep his cool. He was very full. But look at this, John Donkel trying to get on the outside of him now. Oh, dearie me. That's a little bit into the rough there. But Van Delft, he's defending stalwartly, although I've got to say, that was a bit of a sudden move there, but he doesn't want to let this Renault pass, but I don't think he's going to have much choice, is he?
No, he's really not. Just keep an eye on that battle. Just sort of FYI, just up the front.
And he goes wide. Van Delft out of 15. Sorry.
No problem. I was just going to say, Bogart is pulling away now. He's opened up his ERS, he's just extending that gap.
John Donkel has now got Damon Hartman bearing down on him.
I think he just went past him actually, just on under DRS.
He did, but Damien Hartman is still going to come back at him. But I don't know if he can actually. He's just Donkel is really moving on this. He's looking very fast. Van der Berg is ahead of him. It's 5 seconds ahead of him now, Hans van der Berg, and he's closing down on Zander Hermans.
Yeah. Yeah, John wants to be careful. John wants to be careful he doesn't go into that John Donkel mode, which is just to use mode 5 on the ERS and keep it there, as Damie will capitalise on that, probably down the start and finish. And then he goes in ERS saving.
Yeah. You sometimes wonder who's listening, don't you?
Staffer's about to pass Van Delft, actually going into Spoon around the outside.
Ooh, but he
Van
goes
Delft's
wide.
Van Delft's gone off.
Van Delft has gone off. He only just missed that, and that was on turn 14, I think. Yeah, it was. Sorry, turn 13. So that was on that infamous Spoon. As you quite rightly say, he lost it on 7 there, didn't he? But I mean, he just knew that he wasn't going to get lined up for 8, and that was it, basically.
Yeah. It's difficult once you can start getting out of shape at Spoon. Yeah, you can't really put it back.
And it's a great shame because we saw some great fighting there from Van Delft. Such a shame he went out so early because he was looking really promising, wasn't he? There, the Williams driver.
It really was. There was a completely different side of Kevin. Yeah, I've not seen that from him before.
Well,
but
Kevin, you were
definitely
unfortunate
in
there, but you certainly impressed us.
Yeah, that's great. More of that, please. Less of the into the wall stuff.
Definitely more of that. Okay, let's have a quick look here now. Rob Mouldering is closing up on Damie Hartman. Damie Hartman's closing up on John Donkel. So these guys still very, very close indeed. Rob Mouldering, he really needs to get. He suffered so much from these penalties, which he brought on himself ultimately at the end of the day. But now he needs to try and carve himself back. And he needs, finishing ahead of Damie Hartman is important to him. I know we're only early doors, it's lap 6:53, but he needs to get past him now, doesn't he? Because they're both on the same set of tyres.
Yeah, that's right. And Damie is injured. His car is limping. He's just holding on as much as he can for this first stint. He probably wishes he'd gone for the super soft to start. I think Mouldering is going to make the move actually down the start and finish.
Well, actually, Damie Hartman is not in the session.
Well, then he definitely
He's got an X on his car, and that's why he's lost.
Mouldering sideways.
Power slide from Rob Mouldering. Round 2 there. That was rather impressive.
That was. I bet he wishes Damie could have seen that himself.
Yeah.
Just right in front of him.
I wonder if Damie's got. Is it? No, it's not Damie that's got the cat problems, is it? It's Boy, isn't it?
It is. No. Well, it's both of them actually.
It's both of them. I thought, yeah. I wonder if Damien suffered. Well, we saw this with Damien at Singapore, didn't we? Unfortunately.
Yeah, we did.
So let's hope he can rejoin the session. But at this moment in time, Damie Hartman is under AI control, and that's what you can see there ahead of you, the X on his name. But with F1 tonight, the cars are not ghosted, so they are still racing, even if the driver is not connected. So you can't just drive through them, you've got to drive round them, which always proves somewhat interesting.
Yeah, it can do. Hopefully Damie's not going to lose too many places here as he rejoins. As Droney goes past just about into 130R.
We're on board at the moment now with Hans van der Berg. He's still trying to close down on Zander Hermans, but Zander staying ahead of him, 0.6 at this moment in time, but he closes right down on him around turns 1 and 2 as they start the lap. On his tail through the S's here. Herman's more than aware that he's got the Williams driver on his tail. John Donkel picking up a 3-second time penalty. What can Van der Berg do? He needs to get past this Toro Rosso. He is on the super soft tyres, so he will pit in ahead of him, but it would be advantageous to certainly take him on the track, wouldn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it'd be helpful if he could do that. Stappers has just got past Boy on the track, just out of sector 1. Boy's actually off track, just been passed by the still AI
Damien Hartman. Yeah, well, Boy's now going to have to work to get past this Ferrari. Oh, bit of contact there. Doesn't want that. You don't want any damage on that front wing, Boy. And it is a pain because that AI just, it doesn't make life easy. He is far slower, but he just doesn't make life easy.
No, that's right. I think the AIs are all set to 40 AIs. Nothing you can do about that when you do disconnect. You can't change that setting. It's always at 40 by default. So yeah, if anything else, if nothing else, it's holding up Boy at this moment.
Van der Berg is holding back at the moment from Zander Hermans. I think, yeah, he is. He's just replenishing.
Moldering is all over the back of John Donker's Renault. So as they go around sector 1.
Bear with me 1 second, because I think we may be able to get Damie in.
Rob is so much than John ahead of him. This is definitely going to help him pass him.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to get Damie in, hopefully.
Rob's actually got 100% ERS right now.
100%. Wow, he's definitely going to go for it, and he got it. I mean, this is great. If he can make this move on Donkel, that's really going to help him out in a major way, isn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. Donkel's actually got 0 ERS.
So now is the time. Maldron will have full advantage on that DRS.
Good exit out of the chicane. Not bad.
He's closed it right down 5/10. He's got to make the move surely into turn 1, but Donkel is very, very fast through this first sector. He's trying to rejoin the session now. Let's see if I can send him an invite into.
Oh, it's Adrian, a bit wobbly as he plays with his ERS. Sorry, Eddie.
Can you send Damie an invitation to the game, see if we can get him back in, because obviously the other guys are racing. So, Rob Mouldering still closing in to John Donkel. 6/10 in now, and this is so close now. He's definitely on the attack, and John knows it, defending solidly. But surely now is the opportunity as they come round Spoon Curve. Down the hill now. This is the opportunity now for Mouldering. If he can make the move before they get into the triangle, that would be ideal, but he will have DRS when they get onto the straight. Into the triangle now.
Well, that was a better exit from Rob.
Definitely. Round last curve. Look at this. He's right on the tail fin here, John Donkel. Surely he's going to make the move before they get down into turn 1. Gets ahead of him, but can he maintain it? Oh, he's going off wide on the left. John Donkel comes through. Rob Mouldering throws off wide, loses all that hard work that he put in.
Amazing! There wasn't no contact between these two. It's great stuff.
Contact, no. And now he's coming back
Viss
again.
has come in. Sorry, Eddie. Viss has come in for the medium tyres. Okay,
so Visser is in. So he did. He was was on the super softs, wasn't he? Yes, he was.
He was on the softs.
On the softs?
I thought he was on. Yeah, he was on
right.
the softs, on the same as Bogard. Yeah, it's a bit of an early stop.
Well, Rob Mouldering does get ahead out of turn 11 of John Donkel in the hairpin of 11. So he's now ahead of John Donkel. I'm sure John Donkel is not going to want to keep him there. And John is so fast. He's definitely faster around these corners, it seems. But Mouldering has got some excellent straight line speed on there.
Yeah, he has, and that's purely his engine.
John Donkel is dropping behind. He's now 1 point.
Oh, Donkel's in the
hit
wall.
The wall of the oh my goodness me! Clips the chicane entrance there. The pit entrance. Flips his car. He's lucky he didn't lose a wheel. How is he still going round?
He hit that pit wall at 120 miles per hour. That's about 200 kilometers per hour, and yeah, it looks like the car's in one piece.
Oh my goodness me! Look at this.
Droning's gone off as well.
Loses control out of turn 1 into 2. My goodness. This is like being down at the fun fair and watching the bumper cars.
So it's been an intense 12 laps so far.
Yeah, definitely intense. Zander Hermans is really, I mean, his car seems to be power sliding around every single corner.
Yeah, that's the effect of having cold tyres. Unfortunately, he's just come out of the pit and he's super softs. They're just warming up to temperature.
Now, obviously, Nicky comes in after 10 laps on the softs. That's an unusual call, isn't it? Or is he just going to be going for? Is he going for a different strategy now? He's gone on to the mediums.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone on to the mediums. Interesting.
Yeah, it's on the medium. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's prompted that. There must have been damage, perhaps.
John Donkel's gone off the track. Yeah. Drops down behind Droning and Herman, and now he's down to P9.
He's got no front wing at all. He's gonna
side by side with Marcel Droning as they come round 130R. This is obviously something to do with the Toro Rossos, I think, here, and the Red Bulls. I don't know what's going on here, but Zander Hermans really going for it. Makes the move. Gets ahead of Marcel Droning.
Droning was a bit tentative into one. Braked a bit early.
Good show. I mean, Zander Hermans coming through again, and he seems to be relishing this track, doesn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, it looks like he's full of confidence at the moment. Great stuff.
Fantastic. Marco Pullen maintaining a good position here, but he's behind his teammate Guido Ershine. You were talking about this man, Ershine, earlier on. Well, I haven't spoken about him since the start of this race, but yeah, he's up into P5.
Yeah, it's pretty good going, isn't it? It's, I don't want to talk about it too much, because I've got a nasty habit of jinxing people, and yeah, I hope he does well. I hope the next time we mention him, it's at the end of the race with him standing at the top.
Right, goes a little bit wide out of 14, but stays in there.
Oh, Baz, 5 second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. Zander Hermans just got past Pullen as well into 130R.
Just watching that as they're coming up to turn 15, the 130R. He's got ahead, splits the Force Indias. He's got Guido Ershine ahead of him now, 1.2 seconds, and Herman's on a charge. But I mean, interesting thing here, obviously position-wise, Rob Mouldering, he's now up to P3. He's gone up 14 places. Started 17.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, we saw him battling early on with Boy Williamson. We've seen those two sort of fight it out, you know, both at the back of the grid at the start of the race, and then both of them.
Oh, sorry, Zander Hermans goes for a little trip into the gravel there as he comes to the end of the S's. Lost his momentum, lost his rhythm. and went into the gravel. No damage done other than his pride, I think.
That's a shame. He was really racing on the edge, and unfortunately, when he's sliding around, he's still got gravel on.
Fishtailing there out of Tegner into turn 9. Deary me, he's got to watch that, because especially now as he comes up to the hairpin. Oh, he's behaving here. That's it. Get that dirt off your tyres. Don't push it just yet.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When you're racing on the edge, it's very easy to fall off that edge.
Yes, we were both saying he's definitely pushing it, and I think we both had in mind you're pushing it a little bit hard. I think, Sander. I think the same thought crossed our minds there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Guido's
pushing.
past Nicky, by the way.
Yeah, Guido is indeed. He's he's in P5. Nicky, I think, is more sort of moved up, hasn't he? So he did come out in P10.
So yeah, apologies. Yes, you're right. Apologies. Yeah, Nicky was 7th, past Puddin.
So that's with everyone coming in and pitting now. Nicky's now come up to P6. He did come out 10 on his pit stop. So, I mean, he's come in early, but I'm wondering, I think he's going for a medium and then a final soft stint, you know?
Could do, or it might be a super soft. We're seeing super soft tyres run to about 14-15 laps. So that means he's only got to get to lap 38 or so on these tyres, which I think he should be able to do.
They're 4 laps old now, so that'll be, what, 27 laps?
Yeah.
Yeah, guess it's doable. It depends what he comes across on his way, but now the question is how long are the softs going to go? Because obviously all the front runners now, Seb Bogart, Hans van der Berg, Rob Mouldering, they're all on 15 and 14 lap old soft tyres respectively. Baz de Breen is on a fresh set of softs, so he should get the jump on those guys ahead of him, shouldn't he? Yes, he should do. And then that means that Nicky is going to be coming up on, well, at the moment he's about 8 seconds off the back of Baz de Breen, but that's his target, isn't it? Nicky Visser's target at this moment in time is Baz de Breen.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he's chasing him down. It's difficult to it can be difficult to as you say, target a driver that is not at the front or not directly ahead of you. And you know, as long as you can keep sort of focused on trying to beat that driver, then yeah, that's where you can sort of really capitalise on the points. I think if you set a sort of realistic target based on skill and strategy.
Yeah, that's it. That is very true indeed. But it's certainly, you know, there's a lot of play coming in here. I'm just wondering what these guys on the front are going to be doing though when they come in, and I suspect that they're likely to be going on to set of super softs. So I think they might be looking to do a medium finish to this race.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, have to keep an eye on that. It do seem to be sort of 4 or 5 different strategies I'm seeing between these drivers. So far, Baz de Breen's the only one who I would consider is on perhaps a normal strategy at this point, with the exception of the ones who haven't come in yet.
Well, it's going to be a question of who comes in first. And when do we think they're going to be coming in? We saw, say, 14 laps on the super softs. One would expect these to probably go to the early 20s on the start with that full fuel load.
Yeah, I was about to say 22. If we're assuming the mediums can do perhaps 27, 28 laps, and the super softs are about half of that, then yeah, it makes sense that the soft would be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Well, not always the case on certain tracks.
It's not. No, it's not. No.
But on this one, I think you're pretty safe to go with that, I've got to say.
Yeah. Yeah, Twidedeck's pretty even amongst the three compounds.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, and I think it is basically the layout. I mean, it is a great layout, I've got to say. It's another one of those tracks that you just really get to enjoy when you crack those corners and you got them right, it is real good fun, and I can understand. Well, certainly one of the drivers I have a great deal of admiration for, former world champion British driver. Any thoughts on that at all? Former teammate of Lewis Hamilton.
Oh dear. Was it Button?
Yeah, Button
Maybe.
loves Suzuka, doesn't he? It was a track that he really did relish.
Yeah. Well, it was a home Grand Prix, wasn't it, for him for a little while? I believe. He used to sort of live out in Japan for a bit.
Yeah, I think he actually did. He not? He was dating a Japanese girl, I think it was. I don't know if they're still together or not. To be fair,
Yeah.
I don't follow Jensen that closely, but yeah, and he was as the saying goes, Jensen was quite big in Japan as well, because obviously he raced for Honda.
Yeah, back when they were good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They had some pretty dodgy times, if I remember rightly. They weren't always up there, but they delivered in that once. I think it was only one season they really delivered, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just as the Honda team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they sort of sponsored. There was BAR Honda and some of the others. Can't remember the others actually. I just remember BAR.
All right, just go down to Nicky Visser, and he's closed in on the back of that Force India of Guido Airshine. Now this is an interesting little battle. 17-lap-old softs, 7-lap-old mediums, but Nicky seems to be pretty much keeping pace with Urshan.
Yeah, that's going to be really helping Nicky Visser's mentality, knowing that he is equal pace on hard tires. Sorry.
Ooh, nearly goes into the back of the Force India into the chicane of the Casino Triangle. Urshan's in. So Guido Urshan goes into the pits, releases Nicky Visser now into that 5th place. So 18 laps is the stint that Urshan did on that first set of softs. And it looks like he's going on to another set of softs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, again, a pretty normal strategy for me, I think.
Yeah. Now this means that those front runners are likely to be coming in soon, and we did say that we expected them to go round into the early 20s, 22, something like that. But Urshan did pit in, but he does have a tendency to pit in a bit earlier on his tyres, doesn't he? As a matter of course.
He does, yeah, and I think it was the presence of Nicky also sort of encouraged him to pit in. And to be fair, I think that was probably a wise move rather than sort of wasting energy trying to battle him on track for 3-4 more laps.
Yeah.
So that won't get either driver anywhere really.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And I mean, he's come out. He's got clear air ahead of him. He's got 12 seconds to Zander Hermans. Actually, looking at this, Zander Hermans now closing in on the back of Urshan's teammate, Marco Pullen. And he is right on his tail as they're coming up towards turn 15, 130R, the infamous. Remember, this is full speed. Backs off there, lets Pullen through. Pullen goes wide, though. They come down to the chicane now. Now, this is his opportunity. He's within DRS. He's 0.8 off. I don't know if that's going to... he's going to be able to close the gap sufficiently before they get to turn 1. Doesn't look like he will.
Maybe. It's not impossible.
He's taking it easy though, but Pullen staying ahead of him. But now he's got to maintain his control. Remember, he did lose it earlier on. Went onto the gravel. Staying on the tail.
Eddie Muldering pitted from P3 is now out on the super soft tyres.
Yeah, I thought he'd go
He
super
was on
soft.
the softs.
Yeah, he's gone super soft. He's in P5 as he's come out of the pits. Oh, look at this! Side by side. Is he going to make move? Oh, contact there! Contact!
Contact in the side pod.
Yeah, but Pullen drops back. He's in P7. Zander Hermans gets through. He is really racing well. He's he's aggressive, but he's controlled as well, isn't he, Zander Herms? He's really coming together as a total package now.
Yeah, I think he's learning rapidly, just in this race alone. To be honest, he's he seems to have learned his lesson. Muldering's passed Visser on track, just after the I think it was after the hairpin.
Well, no great shakes on that. Oh, mind you, though, he's on a cold set, relatively cold set of super softs, but he's made the move on Visser. As I said, Visser's real target there was Baz de Breen, but Muldering's mucked that up a bit because he's come out in between them now. As has Hans van der Berg as well.
Yeah, Van der Berg's just come out on super softs, and Bogard has also pitted and come out on super softs, and crucially he's the second ahead.
I hate to say I told you so, but I said I had a feeling these guys were going on to the super softs, and I really feel they're going to go for a medium finish to this race.
Yeah, could well be. It looks like a couple of drivers are going on to the super softs, and then the others are sort of noticing that perhaps and following suit. They'll have Jeff in their ear telling them, "Oh, driver ahead is on the super soft tyre."
Well, time will tell what happens.
Bogard does have a 3-second penalty. Hans van der Berg, however, does not have any penalties. He has one warning on the first lap of this race, and nothing more. Seem to have lost Eddie. He's still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, right.
I had my mic muted, unfortunately.
Worried,
very clever of me, I know, but there you go.
Just getting ready to reinvite him.
You were, weren't you? But this is really holding up here. Muldering is right on the tails now of Hans van der Berg, and he's carved his way through. He started in P17. Let's not forget.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal. We're not even halfway through this race, and he's up to peak 4 after one pit stop.
Now, I'm really not too sure how this is going to play out during the course of this race, but you've got two drivers here. Rob Muldering, obviously a little bit more experience with F1 tonight. He's coming back. He's got something to prove. And then you've got the new guy on the block, Hans van der Berg. Somewhat similar driving styles as well. This is going to be an interesting fight to watch, and I hope it doesn't end too quickly.
No, I hope not. I'll come back to that, but first, Pullen's just retired.
Oh my goodness, yes he has. Not too sure where that is.
I see him. He's at the end of the S's.
Yeah, there he is on the left-hand side there.
Left-hand side.
And that was turn 6 on the exit of turn 5 into turn 6, I think that was. So yeah.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Van der Berg and Muldering are it's a fierce battle between those two actually. And as you're saying, the driving styles are very, very similar. I was often referred to Van der Berg as like the Muldering of last season.
Yeah, so close. And I think they're both very much aware of each other. And this isn't something we saw this at the beginning of the season. Certainly the clash between them. Look at it, straight past Parder Cooper as well there. Parder Cooper really not having. He's really having some horrible races at this moment in time.
Yeah, I just feel he's just not enjoying the game, perhaps. Just waiting for F1 19. It's only 5 days away now.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Well, Muldering's biding his time here. He's not daft. He's replenished his ERS. He's just getting himself lined up for the attack on this, and he's arming himself fully because he knows he's going to need all the weapons against Hans van der Berg, isn't he?
See that? Yeah. See, that's the difference now. That's the difference between Muldrink of last season and the Muldrink of this season, and that this season's version is kind of more controlled,
Yeah,
and perhaps mature in his drive style, i.e., saving the RS and then using it a bit more logically than going all out all the time, as perhaps we often see from Hans. Although Hans has calmed that down in the last half dozen races or so, or since his return actually to F1 tonight.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can definitely see that, and yeah, you can see, as you rightly say. I mean, Rob Muldrink, he started off the season beautifully, fell into some bad old habits which he suffered from, got those penalties, and he has been missed these past couple of races certainly, and I think the Singapore as well. I think he DNF'd if I remember rightly. I'm not too sure. I think that was the case. So, he's had 3 races effectively where he hasn't really made a show. It's important that he comes back and gets the points. He does need them, and he's dropped down in the table. He's suffered. He needs to come back up again, doesn't he?
Yeah, he needs to sort of turn it around, and I think that's happening. I think that's in the process of happening right now.
Rob Muldrink closing down ever more on the back of Hans van der Berg. He's got DRS now. This is what
Good
he needs.
defensive driving from Hans.
Very good defensive driving, I have to say there. He's just not breaking the toe. That's what you were seeing there on the straight as he went offline, knowing full well that Muldrink would take advantage of that. They're coming through the S's, but he's closing him down now, round the S's, into that final turn 6, into 7 now. They've got a car ahead of them. I think it's Davey Hartman ahead of them, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Oh dear, now this is really going to make things interesting. Oh, look at that! Oh, Rob Muldrink takes the inside over the grass. Let's hope he didn't get too much dirt on those tyres as they come round the hairpin. that was a move and a half, wasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, that was a bit. I wonder if it will class that as a near legal overtake. And I wonder if it's telling him to let him
He
pass.
stayed on track.
Yeah, true, but they do get about 15 seconds to give the place back, so I'm just waiting for that time to expire. It doesn't look like it is going to give him penalty, so that's good.
No, I think it was only
Means
the
these two can race.
there was only the left wheels that went effectively onto the dirt. The others were still on track. Look at this, he's into the chicane. He's right on the tail of Van der Berg. He is going to get him now on that DRS. He's got all the power to lay down. Oh, Van der Berg nearly into the wall there, like Donker earlier on.
Yeah, a bit eager on the accelerator. Wasn't a great exit from Hans.
I think ultimately he's just letting him past. Oh no, they're still fighting it out. Muldrink went a little bit wide, I think, didn't he, Adrian?
Yeah, just a little bit round one. It's really difficult to sort of remain close to a driver around this section that's so heavily reliant on downforce to keep the car on track. But he's managed it because he's still there.
He is still there, and they're coming round turn 9 now. 10. Now the hairpin. Now this is an opportunity. Now Muldrink knows he's more than aware. I mean, these guys, same tyres. This is a fight for the podium. He needs to get past Hans van der Berg. He is hungry for those points, but Van der Berg is equally as hungry, and he is not going to give that place away easily.
Absolutely not. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go on the inside there as well.
Difficult place to overtake
I think,
there.
as you were saying, Adrian, had that been the Rob Muldrink of last season, he probably would have gone for that inside dive.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, he certainly would have.
Well, they've got Miguel Tawney now, but I think Van der Berg has got DRS on Tawney, and they're 3 abreast.
Yeah.
Look at
that
this.
Helped.
That was fantastic.
God, but he's fighting back. He's on the inside.
Oh, contact, side pod with the wheels there, but Mulgrew does get through. But that was hard fighting there, wasn't it?
That was, yeah, really hard. Don't think Hans would like that, being nudged about a little bit. But you know, it's you know, he gives as good as he gets.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, if you can't, if you dish it out, you've got to take it as well.
It's a good battle between those two drivers. It's now down to Rob to just pull away as much as he can now, which I think he will because he's got the ERS.
He now needs to take full advantage of that ERS, advantage that he does have, as you quite rightly say, and pull away. He needs to get that gap beyond the 2 seconds so that he can then build on that. And it also now gives him the opportunity to close down to Baz the Breen because he's only 4.5 seconds down the road to him.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And Baz is obviously on the soft tyre. Even during those battles, he is 8 tenths faster than Baz. So we'll just see what his next lap is. I won't really count this one.
Martin Parder Cooper picking up the 3-second time penalty. As I say, the Ferrari driver there really suffering.
You can see Baz in the distance there. Just about.
What, ahead of Parder Cooper?
Sorry, no, ahead of Rob.
Oh, right, I was about to say. I was on Parder Cooper there for a minute. Yeah, Rob Muldering has brought down that gap by about 6 tenths. It's now 3.9 seconds. And he's 2.2 seconds off Van der Berg. So that's ideal territory. Now gives him the opportunity to wind in Baz the Breen. And that's what he definitely needs to do. And again, you know, obviously De Breen on a different strategy here, but it is important that Muldering does take him on track because he is on that different strategy, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. If you're on a softer tyre behind someone, it's imperative that you get past them on track, or get past them as soon as possible. And 9 times out of 10 that will be on track. Otherwise, you'll end up waiting until they have to pit, which you'll have to pit before they will if you're on the softer tyres, generally speaking. Exactly.
So it's not ideal. Although that said, I would think it's going to be pretty equal. I think those two guys are going to pit probably around about the same time, actually.
Yeah, there's 6 laps difference between when they came in, and that's probably about reasonable actually. They might be racing each other to the end on track in the last phase.
Not only that, but Seb Bogart as well, because he's within that window as well. He's on 8-lap old super softs. He's only 10 seconds down the road, 11 seconds down the road to Rob Muldering at this moment in time. That's going to come into play as well. He's going to be pitting pretty close to those. So those top 3 guys, top 4 actually, are all going to be pitting round about the same time. Nicky Visser now. Now this is where I think I'm just looking at this, Adrian. Visser could pull out a major advantage here, couldn't he? Because he could well get out on those softer tyres.
Stappers has gone.
Stappers has gone.
Yeah, Stappers on the right side of the track. Turn 4, is that?
Yeah, no, that's actually just before turn 3, I think it is, on the exit of turn 2.
Right. Yeah, yes.
Turn 3, it is turn 3. So, oh no, what a shame. Mark Stappers goes out and DNFs. Great shame to see him go. Such a great driver and doing so well there. He was up to P8, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's a real shame. As I said, Q2 he was third fastest, and it looked like he was on target for a good quality and a good race, but no, it wasn't to be, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. But going back, as I was saying, Nicky Visser, he's actually, although it may not seem it, I think he's actually in a very strong position there.
Yeah, certainly can't rule him out. He's 24 seconds, I think that is, between him and the leader. I mean, I don't think
it's a pit stop.
a win is realistic. Yeah, he's a pit stop away, but Bogard will pull away on the what's left of this stint on his super soft tyres. Yeah, I mean, Visser could be well in with a shout of a podium easy, or second place even.
It's certainly looking very possible at this moment in time. I think Donkel is just, well, he's not just, he is out of that at this moment in time. He's down in P6, he's 31 seconds behind Visser. So effectively 55 seconds behind Seb Bogart. I think now it's damage limitation, isn't it? He needs to just stay out for as long as he possibly can, and then maybe go for a super soft.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I can say about John's performance in this race. He's lucky to still be in it. In fairness,
yeah, definitely. I mean, that was
that
just
kind of speed.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I honestly
Never
thought
seen
he was going
anything
to
like
lose the front end of that car, and how the hell he didn't lose a wheel at the very least, I have no idea.
I think he actually hit the wall.
He clipped it.
I know it looked like it was head on, but
No,
I think he actually hit it with the side pod or whatever it was, because the side pod itself never takes any damage. You can't actually damage the side pod, no matter how hard you hit it.
He did actually hit it with the wing, but as he hit it with the wing, it sort of it tipped the front of the back end of the car so that the wheels didn't make contact with the wall, so therefore it didn't knock the wheel off.
Ah, there we go. That's the secret.
It was.
That's what you got to do.
I mean, well, I don't know if he could ever repeat it, to be brutally honest. But he's in that P6 position.
Oh, so we've got Tawny off in the gravel. At where is that? Yeah, that's what I call Bianchi curve.
Yeah, just went to do a safe rejoin. Yeah, as he's coming round, effectively down towards Degner. Dunlop is on the exit of Dunlop. Effectively, is where he came off. So Miguel Tawny rejoins safely back onto the track. As he has full control, he can rejoin safely.
Let it go.
I can't let it go. Oh my God, you should see. To be fair, I have let it go, but the first week, honestly, it was absolutely frenzied in some of the groups, and it was. Yeah, and as for Nico Rosberg, well, there's not an awful lot I can say about him, really. I love him, he's a great driver, but Nico, you're wrong.
We're all human, aren't we?
Right, let's get back into this action now. We're on lap 32 of 53. This is F1 tonight. NL. And we are here at Suzuka. Race 17 of season 5. We are on board with Rob Mulderink. He's in P3. He started in P17, people. And he is really closing down now to Baz de Breen, isn't he? He is going to be making that move very soon indeed, I believe.
Yeah, just a matter of time. Tawny off again, same corner. Oh, and he's hit John.
No! He's taken out John Donkel and Sander Harmans.
Yeah,
what
huge
is
impact.
going
There has
on?
to be a safety car.
This is a safety car. Gotta be. And that was round on the exit of Dunlop, I think, from what you were saying, Adrian. I'm just on board now with Boy Williamson as he's coming round Dunlop. Yellow's being waved there. Yeah. All the car. Oh my goodness, another collision. Another one. Oh no, look at this. Boy Williamson
safety car called out. A really late safety car. Really late safety car. Needed to get out early.
Hits a car ahead of him. I don't know who it was. Well, I think it may have been Sander Hermans. Boy Williamson nowhere to go. Crashes out as well. Oh my goodness, 5 cars out in one one swipe effectively. Half the field gone.
Yeah, that was a bit of an unsafe release there. We were just jesting about it earlier on. just a lap ago. But yeah, it's Tawny come back onto the track. Yeah, he just wiped out John, and yeah, and obviously blocked the track for the drivers behind.
Oh my goodness me! But poor boy Williamson again. What is going on? He's just going to thinking, I do all this work and it just doesn't pay off. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Oh dear, it's the forced India syndrome. Except he's not even in a pink car.
He's not in a pink car. No. Oh my goodness. Well, this is phenomenal. We're on lap 33 of 53, but people, we have just had 6 cars. 6, I think. Including Damien Hartman.
The cars involved in a collision where we saw Tawny retired, Damien Hartman hit him, John Donkel hit him, Sander Hermans hit him, and Boy Williamson hit him. So that's 5 cars out.
5 cars out in one fell swoop there. So we are actually down to 8 drivers, and that is, well, unbelievable. I mean, what a situation. Safety car is out on track, and this is now really going to mix things up, isn't it, Adrian? Because, I mean, that safety car isn't going to come in anytime quick. Taking advantage there, Muldering into the pits, Bogart into the pits.
Everyone's in.
De Breen into the pits, Hans van der Berg into the pits. Nicky Visser's just into the pits now as well. Guido Airshine, I'm sure, will come in as well. I mean, that is a major incident. We're probably not going to see that safety car come off until probably, lap 36, 37, I think.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. This has unfortunately ruined Nicky Visser's strategy, of course. He had a bit of an advantage on the others. He was on the medium tyre, wasn't he? Going for the long haul. Was probably going to come in, well,
probably 10 laps, 8
he
to 10
may
laps.
Less. He may not have even had to have come in.
No, maybe not.
He may have been able to push
well,
to the
he's
end,
gone on to the softs. I mean, I don't think that was what he wanted to do. I'm pretty sure he was looking to go onto a super soft finish. He's had to change strategy and go onto the softs. It's going to be tough from there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You may notice as well that Rob Mulderink and Rob Mulderink Jr., aka Hans van der Berg,
both gone onto the
both
super
on
softs.
the super softs.
Yeah.
Which I kind of,
I've got to say, I think it's a good shout.
I think that's a bit of a risk. I think it's a risk. I don't know if they will. It depends when the safety car comes in, see.
Well,
but
I don't think it's going to be coming in anytime soon. When we're on lap 34 now, it's definitely going to go around for another couple of laps. So that means it's going to be at the end of lap 36, start of lap 37.
Yeah, in theory. We'll see when it does come in. But you're right, it should come in by lap 37, but we don't know if it will.
Well, that's true, indeed. And you can see the cars already backing up there. Seb Bogart, obviously, leading this conga line. Rob Muldering holding on tight to his hips. Baz de Breen close in behind there. Hans van der Berg coming into the mix now as well. Nicky Visser joining that conga line before they get round turn 1. Guido Airshine is coming around the triangle now.
Yeah, Airshine's in a bit of a dilemma here because
he's staying
some
out.
20 seconds. Yeah, he is staying out. That's one. Yeah, the dilemma is that he probably wants to pit. He wants to pit under this safety car, but he knows, or he'll be aware that Dronig he only pitted 3 laps to go, so he knows that he won't be coming in. Having said that, it's probably still worth Ershine coming in because his tyres will be expired in probably about 6 laps or so.
Wow.
So
Dronig is 30 seconds down the road behind him, so he can afford to come in. And obviously they're on the safety car anyway, so it doesn't really make much odds. All it means is that he's going to be behind him rather than in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a good shout for Ershine to come in for possibly to go for the super softs now.
Well, he will come in. If he comes in super softs, he could hang. Well, he doesn't want to hang back. He wants to come out ahead of Dronig. He will come out ahead of Dronig irrespective. Unless, obviously, well, now he won't because obviously he's now closed down to the back of that pack and Dronig is there as well.
Yeah. Would have been better off perhaps doing it on the previous lap.
Yeah, it should have come in really on the previous one. But we will see how it pans out. I mean, anything can happen. And as we can see, It actually has, and what a conclusion. We were winding up, we were halfway through the race, and well, we are almost still at that point. We're on lap 35 of 53, 18 laps remaining of this race. 2/3 effectively of the way through is where we are. We've got a safety car condition. We're on lap 35. Now, if we're lucky, it might come in at the end of this lap, but I don't believe it will. I'm pretty sure it's going to be at the end of the following lap. Yeah, it is end of lap 36, as I thought. So one more lap now remaining under these safety car conditions, and these drivers are going to be getting well textured. And again, this is another situation where you've got to be careful. You've got speed going, you've got weaving going. You've got to be very, very aware of what's ahead of you, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, the sort of this procession. It can be very easy just to sort of tag the back of another driver who's trying to keep their tyres warm, just like you are. And also the safety car restart. Once the safety car does come in, that is again, that's another skill in itself. It's difficult to practice that one as well, because you can't engineer that yourself. That's just something that sort of happens, and you have to be ready.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And again, the thing is, but it's so important that you do that weaving and keep the heat in those tyres, because it's going to make all the difference when you restart this race.
Yeah, I mean, Formula One tyres, particularly Pirelli tyres, are notoriously not problematic, but notoriously difficult to keep it within the window. This operating temperature. It's only about 8 or 9 degrees centigrade between the two extremes of when they're at sort of full capacity. Somewhere between 85 and sort of 94, 95 degrees C for most of the tyres.
They're coming round now into the final sector, into this final turn.
I can actually tell you Nicky Visser's tyre temperatures.
Oh, go on then. Out of interest. out of interest,
yeah,
why not?
Their safety car is in this lap. They're at about 80 degrees. Front left is actually at 73. So yeah, they're quite a bit below the sort of normal operating window.
Well, Seb Bogart really backing them up now as the safety car exits the chicane. He's going to put pedal to metal, I'm sure, as soon as he gets round that corner of 17. Yep, there we go, pedal down. And we are back racing now. Seb Bogart leads the way. Rob Mouldering close in behind him. Baz de Breen is in third. Hans van der Berg is in fourth. Who is going to make the move on who? They're all lying astern at this moment in time as they come round the first corner. And Hans van der Berg closing in on the back of de Breen, certainly at this moment in time.
Mouldering with another 3-second penalty. I was just about to say any one of these five could actually win this race at this point now.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Mouldering is pushing ahead. De Breen is closing in, but Hans van der Berg is right on the tail of Baz de Breen as they come round turn 9 now. De Breen maintaining his cool, not getting phased by the fact he's got the Williams driver bearing down. And Bogart starting to pull away a little bit from Rob Mouldering ahead of him. Nicky Visser still keeping up with Hans van der Berg as well in that P5 position. Now van der Berg, is he going to try and make the move before they get round turn 15? 130R, he's close in behind him. You don't want to be that close when you've got that much downforce, but maintains it well. And coming to the chicane now. Now this is where it's going to tell. This is where we're going to start seeing that DRS.
Needs good exit.
He does. He doesn't get a good exit
crucial.
out of 18. Baz de Breen does. Rob Mouldering trying to close down. He has closed down now, gap a little bit more to Seb Bogart. But Hans van der Berg still behind Debris. Nicky Visser dropping a little bit further behind, a couple of tenths. He's 8 tenths, but still within that DRS window of Van der Berg. So the fight here is definitely going on for P3 and P4. But I'm pretty sure Rob Mouldering isn't going to let that P1 position go. And it looks like he is closing in very much now on the back of that Haas.
Pressure on Bogart is intense at this moment.
It is. Oh,
and you can see it's gone wide.
He goes wide. He goes wide. Mouldering is almost side by side with him. As they're coming on the exit, round 12 now. Can he try and make it stick? He's right on his tail as they come round Spoon. Oh, and Mouldering goes wide.
I think that will, even though he didn't get past, I think that will please Mouldering that the pressure he's applying is clearly visible now. You know, he knows it's affecting Sebastian.
Yeah, definitely. He knows that he's that little gnawing tick, that annoying little fly buzzing round Seb Bogart's head. And Seb Bogart is clearly getting irritated by it. Not something you see often.
It's not, no. Bogart's got no ERS left as well, so he's really pushing to stay ahead.
He is maintaining that. Hans van der Berg still behind. Baz de Breen's dropped down a little bit further behind though, but Nicky Visser has closed down to Van der Berg. I think maybe Van der Berg is doing a bit of replenishing but trying to stay with him. And Seb Bogart over the dirt there. Brown Degner. And this is very, very close. Too close to call. Good exit out of 11 for both drivers there. Oh my goodness me! Look at that! Mouldering loses it. He's facing the wrong way. Oh no!
And he smashed into Nicky.
Contact Nicky Visser wiped out. Baz de Breen wiped out. Oh my goodness! We are down to 5 drivers. Oh goodness me! Both Nicky Visser and Baz de Breen are both out of this Suzuka Grand Prix. And Rob Mouldering must be absolutely kicking himself there. Look at the debris. Surely we're going to see another safety car. What do you think, Adrian? What can you say?
I can barely speak. Yeah, what can I say about that? Oh, that was really... I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, what happened? What did we just see?
I mean, I'm going to have to watch it again just to... I don't think I can believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Mouldering, I mean, what happened there? It was, as he was coming, well, round Spoon, he just lost it, went sideways on the exit as he's coming downhill. Now, problem is, nobody can see over the crest of that hill. That was the worst possible spot where he could spin and end up in the middle of the track. And there was nothing he could do about it.
No, there wasn't, and there's nothing anyone behind him could do about it, which is really, really unfortunate for, obviously, for Nicky and for Baz, who, you know, didn't do anything wrong.
They did do no wrong, absolutely. And I mean, I shouldn't be laughing, but we started with 18 drivers for this Suzuka Grand Prix. We are now on lap 40 and we are down to 5 drivers.
And one of them is Prada Cooper,
yes.
who's now 5th.
Well, what can we say about this, Adrian? There is an awful lot. I mean, the thing is, if you could blame somebody, fair enough, but ultimately, it was a driver error, obviously, from Rob Mouldring's point of view. He became a passenger. He had no control over where the car stopped on the track. And as I said, it was just the absolute worst place because it was right on the crest of that hill. The drivers coming in behind had absolutely no chance because they wouldn't have seen him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, some people may say, oh, you know, Rob shouldn't have been pushing quite so hard. But, you know, it's a race.
Exactly.
And you know, we're in the closing stages of the race. We've just come off the back of a safety car restart. He's got a golden opportunity really to take the lead and the win. And bearing in mind he started in what was it, 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's well within his rights, honestly, to push as hard as he was like that. Just unfortunately, he did lose control. But that's what happens when you're racing so hard.
When you're pushing the edges, I mean, it wasn't contact with anyone. It was just pure, you know, driver error. He miscalculated where he went on the exit effectively, lost the back end of the car, spun round into the barrier, and then back onto the track. As I said, he was a passenger, he was pushing, it was just one of those incidents, but it was just absolute fluke. I mean, where it happened and the effect it then had, obviously, on the following drivers, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And I think if you know, I'm not trying to influence anything here at all, but I think if people do start you know, penalising drivers for racing effectively, then it's going to take away that element of the races themselves, isn't it?
Well,
which is unfortunately what we're seeing in the real life counterpart.
Well, as I was about to say, this is what better example really that we can show than that. But I mean, I'm sure the stewards will. Let's be fair; they will obviously look at that situation. I've got to say, I was on board with Mouldering at the time, effectively when it happened, and it was just, you know, pure driver error. But it was just one of those situations where it actually happened, and just see there, Seb Bogart literally going past the point. It was just the worst possible point, I think, probably on the track. For those drivers coming in behind. You know, probably the only other point would be on the exit of, you know, as they're coming around 130R. That would probably be similar, but that was it. There was nothing they could do. Absolutely nothing they could do.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's two big collisions we've seen in the space of what, 6 laps or so.
Well,
7 laps?
Big collisions taking out 8 drivers in total.
8 drivers. Yeah, it's going to be one to remember.
This is definitely going to be one to remember. I'm sure Guido Ershine
Ershine's in the pit.
is going to be relishing that when he comes to edit this one. And there he is in the pits now, coming out. And Ershine now finds himself in P4. Marcel Dronig is in P3. Hans van der Berg is in P2. And Seb Bogart is in P1. But Adrian, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, uh-oh, Haas are now pulling away on that Constructors' Championship because they will be picking up quite a number of points, and Renault will have none.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, 40 points for Haas. It's you know, just 3 points off of the maximum there. If you know, if Joe England to get second place, I think that's their best points haul so far this season. Actually, for Haas, don't remember any other time when both drivers were on the podium.
No, I certainly don't recall of any other time, and that means they will pull 43 points ahead of Renault in the Constructors' Championship. And at this stage of the game, that's quite an important gap to have in the final quarter of this season.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's a bit of a lottery, actually, that both Haas drivers have managed to survive this race.
Yeah, I think all 5 of these guys should go out instantly and buy a Euro Millions ticket.
Pass on.
And while they're at it, get one for me as well. What do you think, Adrian? I mean, it really is. You know, I think the only reason Seb Bogart's managed to avoid anything is because he's actually been at the front for the whole race.
Okay. Well, even so, I saw him have to he really swerved to avoid
The
I think
debris.
it was John Donkel's. No, John Donkel's broken car,
Oh, right.
which was parked completely sideways across the track. Managed to slam on the brakes and get by him unscathed. So yeah, quick
my God.
reflexes there. So
This
yeah,
is
I
gonna
wouldn't like
this is
to
gonna
see,
make for a very interesting driver of the day, Adrian. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I tell you, I know who I'm giving it to. I already know who I'm giving driver of the day to.
Whoever it is, I agree. Oh my goodness me. Well, we are on the closing stages. 9 laps are remaining of this race. 5 drivers are remaining. We got half as many drivers as there are laps at this moment in time, but what an amazing race, though, I have to say. I mean, you know, it's and the thing is, it's like so difficult to apportion blame at this moment in time. I'm not too sure about the first incident that took out the 5 cars. That was I think that initiated by. I think was it initiated by Sandra
no, it was Miguel Torni.
Miguel Torni, that's it. Miguel Torni.
Yeah, he went off in the same place twice. Oh, actually, we've got a little battle brewing here just at the end. Dronig and Hans van der Berg. Dronig could in theory, it could be a 1-2 for Hess.
And that would be
just to add
45
insult to injury
points,
to 43.
43.
So that's gonna add insult to injury really for
Renault, definitely. I mean, Renault must be watching this now, both John and Baz, and well, if they are watching it at all, actually, but they are definitely they are seeing this championship, certainly Constructors' Championship, racing away from them, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's not over. 4 races left after this. Still 172 constructor points available.
Remaining.
Yeah, so you know it's not over until it is over.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not what they wanted at all. It's really not what they wanted to happen.
Definitely not what they wanted to happen. But Marcel Droning, as you say, he is behind. He's backed off a bit now from Van der Berg, and I think I know why he's backed off. He's getting himself lined up, isn't he? He's getting prepared in these final 6 laps to make that charge, I think.
Yeah, he is. I don't think Hans is going to give him that opportunity, though. Hans is, I wouldn't say he's pushing, but he's definitely aware of how close it was just a lap ago between him and Dronig.
Yeah, I think Van der Berg is going to be responding. But, Hans van der Berg, he's going to be very happy indeed because, whichever way this pans out over the closing 7 laps, he's in a podium finish.
Yes. Yeah, he's going to be really pleased with this. Started 9th, didn't he? And he's had an eventful race, Hans.
Well, I've got to say, he has had an eventful race. I mean, obviously, we saw that fantastic battle between him and Rob Mouldering earlier on, and it was great to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I do like the battles between Van der Berg and Mouldering. We've seen a few over the course of the season, and they're always fiery. As I said, both drivers are very similar in their styles. And yeah, neither one gives gives the other one an inch, really.
No quarter is given by any stretch of the imagination. Not at all. Obviously, Dronig now has dropped right back. He's 4 seconds. What am I saying? Not 4 seconds. Is he 4 seconds?
Yeah, he's 4 seconds.
4 seconds off the back of Hans van der Berg. So Van der Berg has opened up the valves there. But having a quick look on here, obviously Seb Bogart first, leading all the way. Hans van der Berg did start in P9, so he has moved up 7 places. So certainly a good run from him. And you could say, well, you know, it's down to the amount of DNFs. Well, actually, it's not. He was up there anyway. So he's had a great race, I think, for him. I think he's going to be happy with the race he's run, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, another one that's been pretty eventful. But he's done what he can. He's done pretty much everything right. He's kept himself out of trouble, and he is where he is. You know, he's still in the race. One of only, as we said, five drivers left.
Indeed. Marcel
That's
Dronig.
got to be a record, hasn't it?
It's got to be. Well, I don't think it is actually. I think Baku. I think was the one. I think we
Ah,
actually
yeah, of course,
finished with
in the
less.
rain.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
finished with less than that.
Yeah.
So Marcel Dronig is in P3 for Haas. Great points here for Haas, as we've already mentioned. Guido Ershine, he's going to be smiling, isn't he? Sorry, Ershine. Got to get that right. It's not Ershine. Apologies. It's Guido Ershine. Ershine. Right. So Guido Ershine. I'm only joking, Guido. I'm only joking. So Guido Ershine, obviously, great race from him. 10 places. I mean, we've lost 8 drivers, so that's okay. He's gone up 10 places. P4, valuable points for him.
Yeah, big time. This is his best finish actually for probably about 10 races or so. Yeah. And I called him for the win, and he's P4, so I wasn't far off.
Well, no. To be fair, you haven't done a bad job. I mean, he's not done too bad, as you say. He's up into that P4 position. Valuable points. You were expecting him to win this race. I've got to be honest. I did think that was a little bit of a stretch. But look at this. He's actually closing down on the back of Dronig.
He is, isn't he? Yeah, I was just looking at that.
He's going for a podium finish.
He's gained 2 seconds on him, actually, that last lap alone. Yeah, he's fighting for a podium.
He's been a long time for that podium finish. So Guido Ershine. Look, I'm pulling.
He's gone wide.
He mucks it up. Ershine gets past him. He's on that podium. What a fantastic move there from Ershine. Takes that P3 place from Marcel Dronig. Oh, and he is going to be so happy with that. And he's only got 4 laps remaining. He's really doing well here. But the question I'm asking is, Dronig, why has he dropped back so far? I mean, obviously, you know, Ershine did a fantastic job there closing up to him. But Dronig has dropped back in a major way. He's lost 10 seconds to Van der Berg. He was on his tail 2 laps ago. Is he running out of fuel?
No, his fuel is not critical. It's not yellow at the moment. So yeah, I don't quite know what the thing is, what the problem is. Perhaps he's getting tired. Could be that as well. It's been lots happening in this race.
An all-in race, it has to be said. But he's dropped down to 4. Obviously, less points now for Haas for that constructors. I think that puts him on 36 or 38 points altogether.
He was on 35. 40, sorry. Sorry, for Dronig. Was Dronig on 40, was he?
Well,
so
Dronig and Bogart, you said, were 40 in combination, so...
Right.
So it's 15, so it's 12, so it's 3 less, so it's 37.
Yeah.
Martin Pardicu.
Yeah, it's interesting actually that Dronig actually went wide at the hairpin exactly the same way that his teammate did just before the second big incident with Modric.
Yeah, that's very true actually. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's the way that they've been practicing the absence. Yeah, it could be the setup, or it could be the way that they actually run. Because again, each driver approaches the track slightly differently, so it could well be that.
Yep.
But Martin Pardicu, well, finally he's in the points. He's in P5. I mean, you know, he'll take them if they're given. Why not? It may not have been the race that he wanted it to be, but it hasn't panned out too bad for him in the end.
Absolutely. This is why, you know, even if you're doing terribly, or you know, however you're doing in a race, stay in it because you never know what is actually going to happen.
Well, I've got to say actually, when we were doing that rating, and I was viewing that on the Tuesday night between the soon-to-be F1 Tonight UK league drivers and some of the existing F1 Tonight drivers, Scartrix, who set a fantastic lap actually here at Suzuka, but then short race decided to jump out, and we both said to him, didn't we? No, don't just quit because you don't think you're going to come anywhere. You stick with it. And this is proof positive of that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know. There's quite a few drivers that once they have an incident on the first lap and have to pit, and then they're 30 seconds behind, and they lose the will to continue the race, which I do understand. But in these 100% races, that definitely do not do not give up, because as we've just seen, you never know what is going to happen. And Pardicu was on for 10 points here.
Yeah, and 10 very valuable points for him. I mean, 10 points for him now, it's really going to make a hell of a difference to him. It's going to put him up on 42. It's going to move him up nearly 2 places. He's going to be up in 14th, but very close to Boy Williamson, who's on 43 points. So only a point will be dividing them at the end of the day. Important points certainly to be had, and well worthwhile. So yeah, no matter where you are, no matter what you think, you just stick with it, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, let's be fair, Adrian. I did not look in my crystal ball before the start of this race, so I couldn't have predicted it. And I don't think anybody would have predicted it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. With the number of retirees that there have been, you'd think they were racing at Monaco. With all these blind crashes and things that we've seen. But yeah, it just goes to show the nature of this circuit. Is such that something happens in just the wrong place, you can't see it, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. There is absolutely nothing you can do, as you quite rightly say. And in those 2 incidents, there literally was. I mean, it was just absolute freak conditions. But that's what's happened, and that's where we are. So Martin Pardicu will pick up those 10 valuable points for him in that P5 position, and that's clearly where he's going to be finishing. Then we have Marcel Dronig. Well, he's in P4. He'll be picking up 12 points for himself, and also for the constructors, for Haas, and that will stretch out their lead ahead of Renault, who pick up no points. Guido Erschein will be finishing in 3rd place, and he'll be picking up 15 points. And I'm sure he's going to be very, very happy with that. I'm just having a quick look at the table here. So that'll put him on 62, which will actually
jump
move
him
him
quite a
up
bit.
to P9. So yeah, he will move up to P9 in the table, and he's currently P12. I think that's his highest place in the table so far this season. Hans van der Berg, well, yeah, great race from him. He'll be picking up 18 points. He moved up 3 places from last week. 18 points. That will put him on, where are we now? God almighty. 76 points. And that will actually put him up to P8. So another place there. But Seb Bogart, well, Seb Bogart is now on his final lap. And what is this going to do for Seb Bogart? Well, he's currently on 236 points, so that means he will be finishing this race on 261 points. A full 52 points ahead of his competitor, Damie Hartman. Well,
yes, yeah. So he could win the championship then at Mexico.
Well, four races remaining.
That gap ahead.
4 races remaining, 100 championship points that can be gained, and he's 61 points ahead. So really, it's going to take Damie Hartman to win the next, at least, well, he's got to win all of the following 4 races, and hope that Seb Bogart doesn't place too highly in any of those.
No, that's right. Yeah, he needs. Hartman will need a sort of top 2 finish in at least in every single one, and for Bogart to be behind him to have any sort of chance of catching him there. He's more than 2 races ahead, isn't he? 52 points.
Yep, indeed.
So.
Well, Seb Bogart now coming round turn 18, the final corner here at Suzuka for season 5 of F1 Tonight, takes the win at Suzuka. Fantastic race again from this amazing driver, Seb Bogart. Really leads the way here in F1 Tonight. And now we have Hans van der Berg as he comes through Casino Triangle chicane round the final onto the straight. Hans van der Berg takes second place. Great race from him. Now we have Guido Ehrschein comes over. He takes third place. Marcel Droni coming through that chicane now. He takes fourth place. Fantastic race there. And Martin Paardenkoper comes over the line, taking fifth place and 10 points. Well, I've got to say, Adrian, that is one for the record books, definitely.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, it's epic, wasn't it?
Absolutely
a bit of everything there.
Amazing race. I mean, I've got to say, 53 laps, it seems like they've gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. These races seem to feel like they go a lot quicker than the real life races. They're at the same distance.
What a fantastic result there. But Seb Bogart, what can you say about this man? He's just unstoppable, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, even when sort of everything else is sort of falling apart around him, he's still able to, to put in to get the result. You know, even when the odds are against him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Seb Bogart takes the win here and those valuable 25 points. Hans van der Berg, second, 18, 15 for Guido Ehrschein, 12 for Marcel Dronig, 10 for Martin Paardenkoper. Bas de Breen does still get awarded points. Is that right?
No.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Because they were. Oh, was it? Because they're 3/4 of the way through.
Oh, is that okay? Okay, well, I won't comment on that then.
I don't know. I'm not too sure whether they will or not. Actually, I don't think they will. But Bas de Breen, DNFs, Nicky Visser, DNFs, Rob Muldrink, DNFs, Boy Williamson, Zander Hermans, John Dunkel, Damie Hartman, Miguel Torney, Mark Strappers, Marco Pullin, Kevin Van Delft, Marcel France, Peter Phillips, all DNF'd, and indeed 8 of those drivers we lost in just 2 incidents, and we would never have said that, but it was an amazing race, I've got to say. What are your conclusions on the close of that race, Adrian, apart from the obvious?
Yeah, apart from the obvious. Well, yeah, for me, we haven't mentioned driver of the day yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
And to be perfectly honest, yeah, it's a toss-up between Dronig and Ehrschein. I think Ehrschein just grabs it just for the fact that he managed to sort of get that podium with that drive at the just in the sort of last few laps, that overtake on Dronig.
Yeah.
I would have given it to Dronig had he got podium. Because obviously, it would have been his best result of the season, and
Yeah,
it enables Haas to pull so much further away from Renault. But
absolutely no,
yeah,
but I totally concur with you. I mean, fantastic drive there from Ehrschein. Irrespective of what happened on track, he deserved that place. He worked hard. He was always up in that sort of high midfield. So great result for him. Good drive from him, and hopefully we can see him claw together a few more points. So yeah, fantastic race. I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, I certainly have, that's for sure. I've got to say. And next week's the big one. Next week we are in Texas for the USA Grand Prix and for F1 tonight's 100th race. So if you think tonight was fun, I can assure you next week is going to be far, far more. And we've got some major things happening. Damie Hartman, he's got to fight back, hasn't he? If he stands any chance of getting this championship, he needs to bring the fight to Bogart, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he needs nothing to happen to him in the race, whether it be a disconnection, a cat jumping out, or
whatever
5
it may
drivers
be.
ahead of him crashing on track. It just needs to avoid any kind of bad luck.
Yeah,
and just put it back.
Absolutely. And De Breen and Donkel, they have to work as well. They need to be up there as well. Renault now falling behind in the Constructors' Championship, 37 points now behind Haas, who are pulling away ahead of them. Surely they can't leave it there. They've got to bring the fight back to Haas.
Yeah, they've got 4 1-2s to the end now. That's it, 4 1-2s.
And then we got Rob Mouldering in the mix as well. I mean, he was doing so well. He needs to come back because he needs to move up the champion. I mean, it's all happening, isn't it, in the closing stages of this race, of this season?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, much closer this season than last season, and it's exciting stuff.
Well, it's fantastic. Well, listen, we're going to say good night, and we'll see you next week in the USA. So, good night from myself. Hope you have a great week.
Yeah, and good night from me. Oh, what last thing actually before we go? Next race is race number 100 for F1 tonight, and will we be running that on the new game?
I think so, but I'm not certain.
I'm sure I heard. I'm
I'm
heard
pretty
that
sure.
we were. Okay.
I'm pretty
We'll
sure.
leave it
So
open at the moment.
keep watching, people. We'll post on that. Watch the Facebook and the Twitter account, and we'll let you know. But we may well be racing in 2019, so we'll see you then. So see you next week, everyone.